Hey guys, my name is Tyler, and I just want to talk about somebody who's had a pretty significant influence on my life, a guy named Paul Helbig. If you've spent any time with me, you've probably heard me talk about my mentor, Paul. This is him. So Paul grew up in the New York area, had a pretty crazy upbringing, got saved in Florida, and then somehow made his way to Katy, Texas, where his path and my path crossed about 15 years ago. And then our families grew up together. He has 6 kids. I grew up in a family with 5, so when we got together, it was a party, to say the least. But my senior year in particular, Paul ended up mentoring me and discipling me the whole year through an internship at our church. And there's one thing in particular that rises to the top. So Paul sat me down one time and just said, Tyler, I want to devote my life to the 2 things that last forever, the Word of God and the souls of men. And if you look at Paul's life, you know that that's true. You can't walk into a restaurant in Houston, Texas without somebody coming up and going, Paul, what's up? And talking about lakes in New York or something. But also you can't spend 5 minutes with Paul without him mentioning, man, this is what God just taught me in the Psalms, or how much he loves Amos, or the book of Mark. He's just always talking about the Word of God. And now I'm a youth pastor up in the Dallas area, and I can see those same themes and those same truths coming out through me because of that time that I spent with Paul. A couple years ago, Paul got diagnosed with an aggressive form of MS, and we've seen that really deteriorate his body pretty quickly. His wife, Krystal, has just been a saint in the way that she has cared for him and the rest of their 6 kids. But a couple months ago, Paul had to actually stop working and go on disability. And so Krystal's had to go back to work, and yet she still has some kids back home and has had to care for Paul, and this has just put a big strain on their family. And so a website has been created called KrystalHelbig.com. And this is just an opportunity for you to give either one time or monthly to support Krystal as she takes care of Paul and takes care of the kids, and so that she doesn't have to go back to work but can stay home and be a mom and a wife. And it would just mean the world to me personally, and I know to the Helbig family, if you would give in support of them. So KrystalHelbig.com, you can give in that way. I know I have, and I would appreciate if you do. Paul literally has had an impact on thousands of people, and I believe that God's still got work for him to do. So would you give, but then also would you pray? Would you pray for God to do a miracle and to allow Paul to walk again, to allow him to be able to walk his daughters down the aisle one day, to allow God to continue using him, even in the midst of his pain and suffering, to continue to be a pastor and a mentor and a discipler and just a fiery bringer of the Word of God. I love Paul and the Helbig family. Would you support them in this time? Thank you, and hope you have an awesome day.